Plant-based beef. It's all the rage for ethical eating right now. But is it good for you?
Where's the beef?
Companies have come up with great fake meat, but it's loaded with fat and oil.
You guys down here hear about the ongoing cholesterol problem in the country?
So you could be a virtuous vegan, but not a healthy one. In this recipe, you will find a satiating, fat-free, protein-filled shredded steak that you can use as a substitute, a vegan substitute, for any beef chunks or pulled meat. Welcome back to Comfort Food Farms, the plant-based home cooking channel. If this is your first time, I'm Kari Greger. I'm glad you've joined us. Let's get into it.
The main ingredient of this faux meat is chickpeas. You need 2 cans of drained and rinsed chickpeas or 3 cups cooked. Put them into a blender. Next, you're going to add 1 cup of liquid. This is aquafaba. This is drained off of the chickpeas. You can use water or you can use canned beets. We need 2 tablespoons of miso paste, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, and 4 teaspoons of beef-flavored vegan bouillon powder. This is the type of broth-based seasoning bouillon powder that I use. You'll find a link in the description below. Next, we have 2 teaspoons of garlic powder and 4 teaspoons of beet powder. It's crushed beets, dried and crushed beet powder. It adds a little bit of flavor, but mostly color. Now, 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 2 teaspoons of vegan Worcestershire sauce, and half a teaspoon of liquid smoke. Whatever flavor you want. We're going to take this to the blender. Look at those chickpeas. The color is great on this. The blender sometimes needs some help. I'm going to be using this tamper stick. So it just tamps the mixture down without hitting the blades. This comes with the Vitamix, so you don't have any worries about hitting the blades at the end. And sometimes you just need to break the tension of the bubble that's risen up as the blades whirl around. Then the mixture is so thick, it doesn't flow down. So the tamper just breaks that. Put the mixture into a mixing bowl that has a dough hook. You can do this by hand. It's going to color your hands a lot. Or just with a spoon. You have to just be careful to mix it in gradually and get it well blended. I'm adding in 1 cup of gluten flour to begin with. And then gradually pouring in the 2nd cup of gluten flour. Let the dough hook do its work until it's smooth and elastic.
The bulk of this meat is chickpeas or garbanzo beans.
There's no more tuna, okay?
It's got protein. We need protein.
Beans are protein.
And vital wheat gluten. A word about gluten. Wheat gluten is part of the wheat kernel. It is the protein of the plant. Gluten flour has been processed out of the whole grain, much like an all-purpose flour. So this is not a whole grain product like 100% whole wheat flour. This is different.
You're all different! Yes, we are all different! I'm not.
That being said, gluten is not the boogeyman food that popular diets have made it out to be.
You ever dream in 3D? It's like the boogeyman is coming right at you. A spaceship, where?
Check out Dr. McDougall's video on gluten. I have put the link in the description below. So, adding gluten makes this faux meat very high in protein. And it makes me chuckle, frankly, when I see people who are very concerned about protein intake and yet will only eat gluten-free food. When you take the gluten out, you take the protein out. Now, if you are truly celiac or gluten intolerant, I'm sorry, this is not the recipe for you.
No soup for you.
Is that good information? Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know when another video is posted.
Look at this. You can see how the gluten strands have developed. It really looks like I'm tearing apart raw meat. It's a lot softer than that, though.
Well, I don't know, Robbie. Heard my roast beef is hard.
It's all over town.
It's a lot softer than raw meat, but it's so pink looking. I've used real canned beets instead of the beet powder, and I think it comes out better in the end color-wise. It's almost purple, though, at this stage. This looks like the color of raw meat. Now, I'm going to be rolling this out so that we get the grain of the meat, the grain of our vegan loaf, all going the one way. So roll it one way and then fold it in on itself, but keep the grain going only one direction, back and forth. So fold it in on the sides and then fold it in on the ends, but only roll it back and forth one way. And that way we will develop a very nice meat grain to it. Once you've done this a few times, and you can see when you pull it and when you handle it that the grain is going one way, then fold up the sides and make it into a loaf. Looks like a beef roast. Now make sure that it's the good size to fit into your Instant Pot or other steamer that you're going to be using, pressure cooker, steamer. I've had people complain that they don't want to wrap food in aluminum foil, and I understand that. So I'm using parchment paper to line the food so it doesn't touch the aluminum foil. And this is how I'm going to go about doing that. And just make sure that we fold it all down so that it doesn't touch the aluminum foil, and then crimp the aluminum foil over top of it, on the sides and on top. There. Now our roast is ready to be put into the Instant Pot. Put the rack down into the Instant Pot, add 2 cups of water so the water comes up just below the rack. Set your roast in the Instant Pot and close it with a lid. Make sure your sealer, the valve, is over to seal and not to vent. Now, I'm pushing the poultry because I know I had it on a high setting. You push the adjust button to adjust the pressure. We want it at high pressure. Then you use the plus and minus buttons to adjust the time. We're going to put this in for 120 minutes. That's 2 hours. So adjust for the pressure and the plus and minus signs for the time. After 2 hours, it comes out looking like this. And you see the parchment protected it. I put it into the refrigerator overnight to chill it. Now I can handle it. Look at that beautiful grain. I'm ripping it apart into nugget-sized pieces, beef chunks, so that I can make, Mongolian beef is my plan for this recipe immediately, but I will be able to use it for barbecued beef or whatever. I'm ripping it into this side of chunks because I can't put it back into chunk size later. I want to be able to have that so I can shred it or whatever I need to have the size later on.
So, got them all shredded up into nugget-sized pieces. There's a good-sized one. I fill out on the plastic bag what's in here. Now, before I do that, I was just going to taste this to see how this batch turned out.
Taste of your own medicine, doctor.
This tastes better than what I remember beef tasting like in that because it's already got a little bit of salt in there, and it's good. It's good. It tastes just, there's sort of a chickpea or a gluten taste to it. I'm not sure quite which.
This hummus is great.
God bless the chickpea.
I know once you put a sauce over top of this, put it, you know, into a barbecue sauce, or like I was mentioning, the Mongolian beef, you don't notice that kind of a gluteny or chickpea flavor to it. And honestly, it's not bad because this is not meat, but it's a pretty good replication. And my husband says when I make it with the Mongolian beef recipe, you can't even tell that it's not beef. You wouldn't even be able to tell the difference. So, gonna eat a little too much. I'm a little hungry. Now, this is what I do. I love these flexible cutting boards. As you know, you just take this, I just will flatten it out so it freezes flat. It's easier to break off the pieces that you want when you're going to be making something with this. And just put it in the freezer like that. I have it ready on hand anytime that I want to make a vegan beef dish. So this is really handy to have. If you found some good information in this video, give me a like, a thumbs up below, subscribe, and next video I'm going to be making Caesar salad.
The idea of a free Caesar salad bar.
It's the best Caesar salad dressing. You don't want to miss it. So hit the bell so you will know when that recipe is posted. And leave a comment. If you try this plant-based meat, let me know. I want to know how it turns out for you. Thank you for watching.